FSD with a whole bunch of cyclists in the road. How's it going to do? How's it going to do? Cyclists on the right, cyclists on the left, kids. Just drove right through. All right. Not too bad. Navigate to Kinnick Stadium. Let's take a trip to Kinnick. See if we can get there without any takeovers. Nice, beautiful day for a little ride to Kinnick Stadium. Hawkeyes beat Utah State last night. And by last night, I mean the afternoon. And by afternoon, I mean late morning and early afternoon. Handles this intersection very well. Cars don't stop from left to right there. It's not a four-way stop. I'm always amazed at how, we're not running any radar on this car. And there's just, the sun is poking through these trees and just casting shadows all over the road. And I'm amazed at how well FSD Beta does with all these shadows. I would think it would be really challenging. I seem to remember a lot of people that had FSD back when it was first being tested, talking about phantom braking, and that it could happen when there were shadows on the road. It seems like it's come a long way, because I don't think I've experienced any phantom braking in heavily shadowed areas. It's really impressive when you think about it, that the software has no idea about distances other than analyzing the images and videos that are coming in. Yet it's able to discern between an actual object that it needs to avoid or path it needs to go along versus light and shadow tricks that would even be confusing for some humans. But I guess that's the point. It's going to surpass humans' ability. If you think about the human eyes, we're looking in one direction only. That's all we can ever do. And FSD can look in 360-degree field of vision simultaneously and process things. I think Elon talked about if you were going through an intersection with, you see these busy intersections with hundreds of vehicles, these uncontrolled intersections in some countries where these hundreds of vehicles are trying to work their way through. 100 vectors to an FSD computer is nothing. It's happening in slow motion. The human can only really focus on one object at a time with other things in your peripheral vision, but you can really only think about one object at a time and then react to things in your periphery. But with this software, you're able to simultaneously track multiple vectors in all different locations around the vehicle, and it can do it much, much faster than a human can. So I think we're rapidly approaching this being safer than humans. And once we work out these bugs on these edge cases, I don't think we're far away, guys. I don't think we're far away from that moment where this surpasses what a human can do on the road. What's going to be interesting is, and I'm glad that we get winter weather here, because I really am going to be interested to see how this works in the winter. I mean, I'm going to imagine there's going to be times where, the software would just simply, the safest thing to do would be not to be on the road if the roads are slippery. In the Midwest, when you get a snowstorm or an ice storm, and you head down the road, every mile or two you're going to see a car in the ditch. And you know, it doesn't matter how many cameras you have or how quickly you can react to something on the road. If the road conditions are that slippery, you know, the safest answer is don't be out on the road. So I wonder if, and I know other people have probably already know the answer to this, but I mean, I don't know if FSD should be used in super slippery conditions. Anyway, I'm going to test it, and we're going to see what happens. I want to push it to the limits, and if the answer is that it should disengage and you should go home and park the vehicle, then okay. But it makes me wonder how it's possible that FSD could be better than a human in super slippery conditions. I mean, I've grown up with snow and ice my whole life, and I can look at a road and I can tell there's 70, 80 different ways a road can be slippery. You know, for example, if you see snow blowing across a road and just melting and freezing on the road, that's a particular type of slipperiness that I'm aware exists, that it would be difficult for a computer to pick up. But maybe I'm not giving enough credit to the neural networks and what it's going to be capable of doing. You feed it enough images of snowy weather and slippery roads, and it may know every type of slippery road that exists. By the way, while I've been rambling, we've had a flawless, smooth, beautiful drive on the way to Kinnick Stadium right now. Absolutely flawless drive. The only thing I've had to do is just let it know that I'm here a few times by touching the wheel, but wow, what a flawless drive this has been. It's strange the first few times you use full self-driving. It's definitely an adjustment to give up control, to trust the computer. But once you kind of get a feel for how it reacts in certain situations, you get more and more comfortable with it. Look at all these shadows casting. You can barely see the lane lines, sprinklers going off. It's just impressive how it's able to, I mean, even paint that goes across the lines here. Unbelievably impressive. Changing lanes here and turning into Kinnick Stadium, which yesterday was filled with tens of thousands of fans as Iowa got its first win of the season. Okay, arrived safely to Kinnick. We're going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.